I think I made like the biggest amount of progress in the past year than I had in like the previous 5.
It is that one hair product that I cannot live without. I feel like it cannot be replaced by any other hair oil or serum.
Minasan konnichiwa, this is Tina and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my full hair care routine. If that sounds like your thing, then please go ahead and channel登録しちゃってください. I honestly did not think this day would come where I would be sharing my full hair care routine from washing to styling to everyday care, because I've been having a lot of questions from you guys on everything to do with my hair. So yeah, I'm going to share all of it in this video today. Before we get started, a little bit of backstory on my hair journey, and the reason to why I say I never thought this day would come is I never liked my hair. It was always kind of my biggest complex. Even from when I was little, it was always very frizzy, thin, fine. Especially being part Asian and having Asian friends, I was kind of like, why isn't my hair like thick and long and straight like theirs? So I did struggle a lot in how to care for it or style it when I was younger, and pretty much all through high school I used to get it chemically straightened, like dead straight, just so I can fit in with that stereotype Asian hair, I guess, because all you want to do in high school is fit in, you know? And then as I got older, I still didn't really know how to deal with my hair. I kind of just went with the flow, did a lot of guesswork, especially over the period of working at Disney, where I couldn't dye my hair going into COVID, where like we didn't really have the option to go to hair salons. I kept my natural hair for probably about 8 years. I didn't dye it or cut it or anything. It just grew really long. And then after 8 years, I finally decided that I wanted to give a big change and decided to get a balayage, which I had been dreaming for literally the longest time. Like I had been wanting a balayage for like over 10 years. So I finally went and got it done, and yeah, you guys did not like it. At that point I was pretty active on social media, so obviously a lot of my viewers saw the change and I got a lot of comments regarding my hair when I got it done. And yeah, looking back now, it was in pretty rough shape. It was very damaged. It was very like ratty looking. I don't think it was even really a proper balayage, and I don't think the hairdressers really knew my hair. It was a first time hairdresser that I was going to, so partially my fault, but it got me in a bit of a dark place, not gonna lie. Like I didn't really make a big deal of it, but every time I uploaded a video I'd see comments negative about my hair and I'd get pretty down. It does do something to your self-confidence for sure. So I think I kept that hair for about a year, and then I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to commit more to my hair. I commit a lot of time into my skincare, but not so much to my hair, just because I never knew how to go about it. But I was like, you know what, time to make a change, and I got it cut fairly short, which I hadn't done in such a long time, probably since like mid-high school possibly. I always wanted long luscious hair, even though it's so thin and hard to grow. So yeah, I got it cut a little bit short and started to work more on getting it healthier. Fast forward about 1 year, and I think I made like the biggest amount of progress in the past year than I had in like the previous 5. I feel like my hair is healthier. I know how to style it better. I am taking care of it more, and I'm getting a lot of questions and compliments from you guys in regards to my hair, which is something that I never thought would happen. So I thought it was finally time to put everything into one video and let you guys know how I got to this point. I am still very much a beginner. I mean, to think that I've been doing my skincare for 10 to 15 years versus hair for like 1 year, at least taking it seriously. So I'm still figuring things out and probably doing things wrong. So take everything that I say with a grain of salt. And if I'm doing anything like absolutely so wrong and you're like a hair care specialist out there, just let me know in a comment in nice, kind words. So yeah, let's get started with the routines.
So we are going to start off with my typical wash routine. I do tend to wash my hair once every 4 to 5 days. I don't generally have oily roots, so this seems to be the perfect amount of time. I do brush through my hair quickly with my hairbrush, which I generally use Tangle Teezers. These do work really, really well on fine, fluffy, wavy hair, and I've been using Tangle Teezers for probably like close to 10 years now. After I get rid of any knots, I do switch to using a bamboo hairbrush, which I did just buy this one off Amazon. Amazon, but I had read somewhere that it's really good to stimulate your scalp for healthier hair growth. So I set a timer about 5 minutes and really focus on giving it a good massage. This also obviously helps to distribute your natural oils from your scalp down your hair as well. Next, I am going to oil my scalp, which is something that I've been doing for about a year now too. And this one is hard to tell the true benefits because it can take up to years to really show. But I can't deny that my hair has definitely gotten healthier over the past year. So we're going to keep doing it. I do this pretty much every hair wash. So I split my hair. First, I like to focus on where my gray hairs are. I have this one spot where I have a ton of gray hairs. So I like to put a generous amount of the oil there in hopes that it will make it healthier, or reverse, probably not. But yes, I do a couple drops of oil and then I will part my hair in basically like inches across to keep dropping that oil down and massaging it into my scalp. There are so many different types of scalp oils on the market these days, and I have tried a fair few at this point. I am using the Fable and Mane oil in this video and I really did enjoy it, possibly my favorite one. Although once again, it is really hard to tell which ones are working best because it can take from months to years to show true results. So I'd say just use one that you enjoy using. This one smells really nice and the application process is really easy, so I definitely did prefer it. Once I have applied the oil all across my scalp, I blindly add a few drops to the back of my head because I can't see it, but that's the part that I can't really reach when I'm doing the rest of my head. And then I will apply a few extra drops along my hairline since that's where we want a little bit of extra volume, and also on my fingertips to then give my whole scalp a very good massage to make sure all of that oil has been massaged well into the scalp. Now, I know you can use the same oil on the ends of your hair, which is totally fine to do, but for me, I'm trying to just use up hair serums or oils that I didn't really like. So I'm using the YOLU hair serum on my ends. This one was just way too heavy for my hair. It weighed it down like astronomically, so I cannot use it on dry hair or before styling it because it really does just grease up my hair. So I've been using it just on my tips to make sure the ends of my hair don't tangle and to give it a bit of nourishment before we do wash it out. After I have oiled my scalp and hair, I will pop it up in a clip usually and leave it for, they say like minimum 10 minutes, but honestly, I will leave it for at least half an hour up to a few hours. I actually like to do this before I go to the gym. So I'll oil my hair, go to the gym, get all sweaty, and then wash it out, which tends to be about an hour or so. When I do go to the gym, I just use those like phone cord hair ties so it doesn't get tangled up or damaged. Now for the actual washing process. So first things first, obviously I do a good rinse and make sure my whole head and hair is nice and wet. Before we go in with our first shampoo, I am using the Honey Creamy Shampoo. It made it into my top hair care of 2024. I have used some variants of this shampoo and conditioner for the last couple of years now, and they did just recently renew it to Honey Milky, which I will try to get my hands on when I go to Japan next, as it is supposed to be like a renewed, updated version. And I tried a sample, it was great, so I think I will stick with this series. It is intended for damaged hair and has extra nourishment, which I think works really well for wavy and fine hair, as most Japanese hair products do cater to more straight, thicker Asian hair. I will make sure to focus the shampoo on my scalp rather than my ends. I will sometimes even use like a scalp brush to make sure I can get in there and get a good cleanse going. So I will rinse all of that shampoo out, and then as I do with my skin, I do a double cleanse for my scalp too. The first wash ensures you get all of that oil and build up and debris out, and then the second wash kind of helps to further cleanse your scalp to make sure that you are getting a proper wash. If you are someone who washes their hair every day, I feel like you probably don't need to do a double cleanse, but since I do wash my hair once every 4 to 5 days and do use an oil treatment and all of that, I do feel like this gives my scalp a proper clean. Before moving on to the next step, I try to squeeze as much of the water out as I can and will comb through my hair if possible. The Honey shampoo does leave my hair feeling pretty silky so it doesn't tangle up or anything. But if I do use a clarifying one or a scrub shampoo and my hair doesn't comb through easily, I won't comb it just because I don't want to damage my hair. And then I will move on to the Plus O Hydro treatment. I've been using this one for quite some time too. It is a water treatment that you apply before your hair mask or treatment that allows for the products to work harder and to absorb better into your hair. So I will apply a generous amount and scrunch it into my hair to make sure it is absorbed well. You can really start to see the waves and curls in my natural hair, like the texture coming out. I'll now use a hair mask, and I do use a hair mask every wash because I never felt like it's too much. Like it always seems to help keep my hair healthier and silkier. The two that I've been using recently is the Pantene Pond Repair Hair Mask and then the And Honey Deep Moist Hair Pack. I'm going to use the And Honey one today, but I will use them in the same way. I will get a fairly generous amount, and then again focusing more on the mid to ends of my hair. I will not put any hair treatment or mask towards the scalp because it's just not necessary. So I will apply it and again scrunch it in to make sure it is distributed evenly. Once applied, I will pop it up in a clip again to allow it to process for at least a few minutes, and in that time I will do things like wash my body, shave, and then technically with the And Honey hair mask and conditioner, you don't actually have to wash it out in between. You can apply the conditioner right after, but just for the sake of the video, whenever I do use a hair mask and conditioner, I will wash the hair mask out first before applying the conditioner. So we're going to wash that out, but wash it out as best as possible without letting it run down our body. So usually I flip my head and try to wash out all of that treatment because it can be the cause of acne on your body and stuff when you do have that hair product running down your body and kind of staying there. Going ahead and applying that conditioner, we are going to apply it in the same way as the hair mask, just towards the mid and ends of the hair. I do like to let this process a little bit too, so while I let the conditioner work, I will do body scrub usually. Just like to use my time very efficiently in the shower. I do also prefer to cleanse my face in the shower, so I slightly effed up the order in this video, but usually I do my oil cleanse like first thing when I get in the shower. So as I'm wetting my hair for the first time, I will do my oil cleanse, especially if I'm wearing makeup, I'll do that first. And the last two things I do before leaving the shower is to rinse out that conditioner. This is our final step for our hair in the shower. Make sure it's all rinsed off well, and then just before I step out of the shower, I will do my second step, face cleanse. I do it very, very last because I don't want any excess hair products or anything else that is on my face to stay there. So I'll do my face cleanse very, very last. Whenever I wash my hair is like the one time I feel like 100% clean because my hair's clean. I can also get my face washed like absolutely everywhere, like in and around my ears and along the hairline. So it always feels so good whenever I do my full everything shower. And I will usually wrap up my hair in some sort of hair towel. This one is the Coco and Eve microfiber towel. I just use like a rotation of ones that I've been gifted that's specifically for the hair, and they all do have this wrap up and hook on a button type mechanism, which I do find really nice and handy whenever I'm doing my skincare routine before I go to dry my hair. Alright, from here is basically the dry, blow dry style routine, I guess you could say. I usually always wear a sheet mask, at least for the first half of the drying process, so my skin does not dry out from the air of the hairdryer. I do get a wide tooth comb and comb through my towel dried hair, make sure there's no knots in it. And then I will try to use some sort of like scalp treatment product. Right now I'm using this Korean one from Nineless, where a lot of Western brands, whenever they do scalp care products, it's usually an oil. A lot of Korean brands do water light texture in a spray form like this, which I do feel like is more lightweight on the scalp, so it doesn't really grease the scalp as early. And then it usually has like a cooling feeling to it as well, so I quite enjoy that refreshing feeling on the scalp. Now the product that I apply before blow drying does really depend, and I do cycle through multiple different products. If I don't have any special occasion on and just want something lightweight weight on my hair, I do tend to use either the Bondi Boost leave-in treatment or the Orbis one. When I wash my hair before a trip or a special occasion where I want my hair to be super duper silky, I use the Color Wow Dream Coat. That makes my hair like literally unbelievably silky smooth and like a waterfall. But today I'm going to be doing a bit of a treatment using the Olaplex number 6. I did recently mention this one in my best of hair for 2024, and it really is kind of that one product that does it all. It helps to protect your hair from the heat, it helps with frizz, it helps to smooth your hair when you're drying it, and it does help to treat and repair your hair as well. So I have been using this one for quite some time. Once every few washes, I don't use it every single time, but maybe like once every 3 washes. I usually take one pump and apply and scrunch into towel dried hair. Although I do find this one doesn't really nourish like very dry ends. So for my ends, I usually do take a little bit of the Coco and Eve Miracle Hair Elixir. I've talked about this product so many times now, and it is that one hair product that I cannot live without. I feel like it cannot be replaced by any other hair oil or serum. So I'll just take a little bit of that and put it just on my ends for that nourishment. Next, just taking my hairdryer, I do use the Dyson Airwrap. It's okay. It's nice. It's got lots of different attachments, but I don't use the other attachments quite that often. I mostly just use the hairdryer, and yes, you can once again see my hair texture. It is very fluffy, and you can kind of see those waves coming through too. But at the point of semi-dry hair, this is when I'll take off my sheet mask and do the rest of my skincare routine before I move on to the actual styling portion. From here, I do tend to use my hot brush tools, and obviously I have multiples of them. I do have the Bondi blowout brush in both sizes. The bigger barrel is better for longer hair, and the smaller barrel is better for short hair. But today I'm going to be using the Revlon hot brush tool. I usually start off with the max setting, so max speed and heat, and I will just do a few passes through the bottom section of my hair. I do go both directions, like from over as well as underneath, to try to get as much sleekness on the roots and reduce that frizz. Once my hair feels fairly dry, I will switch to the lowest heat setting, so it's number 1 on this Revlon tool, but I'll do a couple more passes on this lower heat and really try to focus on creating tension and giving that sleekness to the hair. And then this is where I will start to basically shape my hair. So I will split it into 2, and I used to always curve the direction like out, like away from my face, but I realized that I like this bottom section to be turned in actually, and I feel like it creates a nice kind of silhouette whenever I finish doing my hair. So this bottom section, I do try to curve in towards my face. I'll do a pass or 2 through with that lower heat setting, and then after my hair has taken its like proper form, I guess you could say, I will switch it to the cool shot setting and mimic that same movement, that same shape, to try to set that hair in place. I feel like doing it in this way, it creates sleekness to the hair but doesn't make it look flat. It still has that bounce, it still has that body and shape to it, but I can definitely get rid of a lot of that frizz that my hair tends to hold. Now for the top half of the hair, I tend to work in 3 large sections. I will section off the first side, but leaving just the crown of the head, I guess you would call it, just the back part, because I'm going to do that in one section. So I will twist the rest of the hair up and just have one side of my hair to work on first. Basically from here it's the same process. I will do a few pass throughs on the higher setting to dry it out, and then section it out and smooth it as I dry. For the rest of my hair, I do tend to direct it outerways, so away from my face. I will twist it kind of like outside curls. I will work in smaller sections if I feel like there is too much in one, but I will basically work on the one side, and then when I switch to the back, it is hard for me to kind of see what I'm doing whenever I'm doing the back, so I just make sure I make it look smooth on the top, and then usually I'll twist it to one side or the other just to create a bit more shape on the ends. But again, I'm not too fussy. I feel like it looks okay in the back, so we're just going to stick with that. Now for the final section, the left hand side of my head is where I actually tend to have the most hair, because I do part my hair on the side. But just a little recap, we do a few passes on high hot heat, and then when I do that, I tend to try to basically blow dry in every direction, like from above, from under, left, right, to give my roots a bit more volume. Once it's fairly dry, we switch to the lower lower but hot setting to shape the hair, and then the final pass through is on the cooler setting to help set the hair. And once again, try to put it in like the outside direction, and I will twist the brush as I am pulling down to create more of a curl to my hair. Lastly, I will grab the very front in one section, so the face framing areas or the fringe area, and I will do one more blast with the brush to give it a bit more shape. I will go from underneath as well as on top, and then I'll hold it in the barrel for like a little bit longer than I do the other sections of hair, because I do want to hold a bit of that shape. And I'll again put it on the cool setting to make sure it sets well, and then release. I do try to generally dry my hair in the same sort of way, but still I feel like it can come out different every single time. And obviously this time I feel like it's flicking out a little wildly. Obviously I'm trying to like fix it up a little bit here, which is cool, but usually I dry my hair at night and then go to sleep. So I'll wake up and it looks kind of funky anyways. So yeah, here's what it looks like completely blow dried. I think it's fine. It's obviously not a masterpiece, but I have gotten a lot better at styling and blow drying my hair than I used to, so I'm just happy with that. And lastly, of course, we're going to add a little bit of hair oil using the Cocoa and Eve again. It's just so good. It works in so many different ways. I apply it obviously before blow drying on my ends. It helps as a heat protectant. It helps with that frizz, and then on dry hair it adds a bit of shine, and again helps with the frizz and kind of nourish those ends too. So I always finish off with applying a little bit of this oil. That's my blow dry routine. So the last part of my routine portion of this video is going to be the styling portion, which I don't do every day or every wash, but if I am filming, that's usually the one time that I will style my hair during the day. On dry hair, I do like to use the Bondi Boost infrared brush. This is supposed to be less heat damage, but helps to reduce frizz and add a bit of shape without reducing volume, which I feel like is exactly what I want. I do spray a little bit of heat protectant, even though it says it's less heat damage. Generally, I do just do like what you can see on camera, if that makes sense. I'll do the front portion of my hair where my bangs are, as well as some of the surface curls if it's looking flat or basically just out of shape, but really easy to handle. And yeah, it definitely doesn't flatten your hair. So I have been using this one whenever I want to style my hair dry. Once I have finished styling it, I once again will grab the Cocoa and Eve oil. I don't think it really needs an explanation at this point, but as you can see, I can apply it multiple times, yet it never weighs my hair down, which is what's really, really important, because a lot of hair oils or serums, if you do have thin, fine hair, it will weigh it down in an instant. So that's why I love it. Here I have also used a hair spray. Generally speaking, I do not like wearing hair products, especially like styling products in my hair. So I will try to avoid it. But when I film, I do tend to spray a little bit of hairspray, although this one, it's supposed to be like you can still brush your hair with your fingers. Like it doesn't harden your hair or make it feel stiff, and that's why I like it. So I just kind of spray it on as I am pulling my hair back to create that movement to it. And then if I do have any crazy flyaways at the top of my head, I will use the Plus O fixer to flatten it so we don't have any strays going wild. But yeah, that's basically it, you guys. That's completed of my wash, styling, blow drying routine. Hopefully you enjoyed it and I explained it okay.
I think that's about as fully fledged as we're going to get in terms of hair care routines from me. But before we finish up the video, I wanted to talk about a couple more things. First is daily care, things I do every single day for my hair when it's not wash day, which honestly there's only one thing, but I do always make sure to oil my ends at nighttime because they do tend to get drier as time goes by. Simply, I just comb through my hair with a wide tooth comb, and then once again I take my absolute favorite hair oil, take the tiniest amount, warm it up on my palms, and literally just apply it to my ends to try keep that moisture in. Next is periodical care, which is like so hard to kind of describe and advise for because it's really going to depend on each person. But for me, every third to fourth wash, I will exfoliate my scalp. So obviously over time, the more product you use, there can be product buildup, or your scalp just might need a deep clean. Same with our skin, especially if I see any like dry flakes flakes or dandruff or anything like that, I make sure to exfoliate. And I do it multiple different ways just because I guess I do have options and like the fun of it. I feel like it keeps me going, keeps me like wanting to care for my hair. First option is to use a scrub shampoo. This is my second bottle of the 9less scrub shampoo. This one does actually have physical kind of scrubbing particles in it, so you can feel the scrub, and it also foams up really nice. So I like using it as my first shampoo on days that I want to exfoliate. Another shampooing option is the Coco and Eve Clarifying Detox Shampoo. Oh, is exfoliating clarifying different things? I think they are. My apologies, as I said, I don't know enough about hair care, but it kind of works in the same way in the sense of removing built-up on your hair. They say not to use it too often, I think, maybe once a week, but again, I like maximum wash my hair twice a week or less, so I just use this once every 3 to 4 washes, or use a exfoliating liquid, the Alpha H Healthy Scalp Exfoliating Treatment. This one does use BHA to exfoliate the scalp like how we would use it on our face, kind of the same way. I tend to use this one when I don't have enough time or I'm too lazy to oil my hair. It's really refreshing, it works well, it doesn't tingle, it doesn't like irritate my scalp or anything, but Alpha H is kind of expensive, so I know a lot of people use the ordinary glycolic acid as a scalp exfoliant too, which I'm sure it'll work just as good. This just has like a bit more of a nicer experience because it is a like thicker liquid and it does foam up a little bit on the scalp, so it's kind of like nice like that. I will use one of those every 3 to 4 wash, like not all of them constantly. Does that make sense? So I'll be like oil, oil, exfoliate with just one of those, oil, oil, exfoliate with just one of those. Like I never combine them together, but I just like to have options. Also, bond repair treatments. I do these every now and then too. Generally speaking, now that my hair is healthier than it used to be, I don't feel the need for them quite as often, and I don't feel the difference with them as much as I used to, I feel like. But of course, it's good to kind of stay on top of that bond repair. So I tend to use them when I feel the need to, or when I travel, I will use them because they cut out so many steps of the routine. That is why I love bond repair treatments, because you shampoo your hair and then you just put it on and that's it. You don't have to mask, you don't have to condition, you don't have to even put in leave-in treatment. This is the one that I've been carrying around with me whenever I travel, the Coco and Eve Hair Repair Leave-In Treatment. The reason why I take this one to travel is simply because it is small, because the other one I have is the K18 Leave-In Hair Mask. Honestly, like side by side, I couldn't really tell you how big of a difference the two have. Obviously the K18 is more expensive, but I did buy this one first and I bought it when my hair was more damaged. So in that sense, like obviously it did its job, but they do work in the same way where you shampoo your hair, you put it in, you leave it in for 4 to 5 minutes, and then you dry your hair and all of that. So I use these whenever I feel the need or when I travel. Gosh, I feel like I'm just so bad at explaining hair care stuff. I do apologize. And one more thing I wanted to talk about is salon visits, as I tend to get a decent amount of questions, especially in regards to my hair color. I do go to the salon usually every 2 to 3 months, probably more 3 months. I like to think I go every 2 months, but I think it's always 3 months. Right now, I think it's right at around 2 months since I've been. So you can see my regrowth. That's my natural hair color. And then like from about here is my dyed hair. As you guys know, with my gray hair, I've just kind of had to start coloring it now. So it is what it is, you know, part of life. Usually get a treatment if I can, just because my salon does offer a free treatment when you pay in cash with any chemical service. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just pay in cash and reap that free treatment. So I usually do get cut, color, and treatment. I ask to cut whatever decent damage there is. So off the ends, I'm like, if it's fairly damaged, you can cut it off, which I've grown up so much, because I used to be like, no, cut as little as possible because I want to grow my hair. But now I'm just like, you know what? If it's damaged, if it needs to be cut, let's cut it. And then they give me obviously layers in the front, going just shorter to longer, so it has a bit more of a flow here. And then I get a little bit of layers in the back, which was also something that I used to be really scared of because of my hair texture. The more layers, the more it spreads, which is true, but I feel like I can style it now a bit better, even if I do have layers in the back, and they definitely do give my hair a bit more movement, a bit more body and shape to it. And then the color I get is actually a dark ash brown mixed in with some grey hair coverage, because apparently it's like different hair dye to cover greys versus like normal color. And whenever I first dye my hair, it's like way darker and way ashier, but it ends up washing out to this more warm brown, which honestly I don't mind. Like a lot of you guys have asked me what color I get and that this color suits me a lot. So I kind of enjoy the progress of the darker ashier hair when I first get it dyed, and then it kind of washes out into this lighter warm brown. And I think it also kind of blends in with my grays a little bit more. You can kind of see like streaks of grey through here, but it kind of just looks like highlights with this hair color. So yeah, it's just been working out, and I've been getting that same hair color for the last like 3 to 4 visits. I will leave the details to the salon I go to in the description, just in case some of you guys are looking for somewhere in Melbourne. Bit of a nerve-wracking video for me to make, but it was time. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a thing or two, or maybe you can teach me a thing or two in the comments if you have a little bit more time to spare to hang out with me. Check out one of these videos here, because I would super duper duper appreciate it. And if you do have any other kind of requests on what kind of videos you'd like to see, please leave that in a comment as well, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Mwah.